Ladies and gentlemen, joining us right now, not only the college football national champion, Super Bowl champion, A.J. Hawk, but the man who's the back-to-back NFL MVP, 4-time in total, 3-2 Packers quarterback, ladies and gentlemen, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah!
What's up, dude?
Hey, guys. Are we audio good today?
I think so. You sound good. I think AJ can hear everybody. AJ, can you hear Aaron?
Oh, yeah. Loud and clear.
Let's go, dude.
Thank you, Zeke. Appreciate you, Zeke.
Aaron, the more things change, the more they stay the same. Turns out you get into a multi-million-dollar new studio, you're going to still get shit fucked up every day, basically, it seems like, Aaron.
Chaos theory, my friend.
Oh, I'll look into that. Hopefully that's in the next book of the Aaron Rodgers Book Club 2.0. Let's dive into it. Let's chit-chat about this past weekend. How was the London trip? What was your... Aside from the game, did you enjoy going to London? Did you enjoy the fact that it seemed like there's a lot of Packers fans over there leading up to the game? Did you enjoy the London experience, Aaron?
Yeah, I had a blast. It was incredible. I wish we could have had a few more days, but we landed and tried to stay awake the entire day. So Alan and I and Adam, our nutritionist, decided to head over to Wembley, which was incredible, and watch our U.S. women's national team against the reigning Euro champion English women's national team.
Lady Lions.
Great game, and we got to go down the field. The pitch is incredible. The stadium, I mean, it was rocking too. There was I don't know how many thousands of fans, but I think it was a sellout in like 24 hours, and got to watch the game with many of the cast of Ted Lasso, which is a favorite show of mine, which was a lot of fun. Have a nice little Friday. Saturday, relaxed a little bit more, but I tell you, the fans were incredible. Big shout out to all the fans I got to interact with who are fans of this show, which was incredible. Not just fans of yourself, AJ a little bit, big fans of Ty, of course.
Hell yeah.
And big fans of the book club as well.
Really?
Yeah, I took a picture with a guy who had The Art of Contemplation actually in his hand. He's like, look, I'm a book club fan. But there was a lot of book club comments, a lot of comments about, hey, I watch you on Tuesdays with Pat. So big shout out to all those fans. But the fans were incredible there. I mean, it was 70-30 probably Packers fans at least. Maybe not 70-30. Maybe it was like 70-15 and then 15 who didn't really care and just wore the jersey of their favorite team or whatever. But it was awesome, great experience other than the outcome of the game. But something that was really fun for all of us. We stayed at this place called The Grove, which is near Watford. Excellent hospitality. The food was outstanding. The rooms are great. Beautiful scenery. So, I mean, everything was first class all the way. So we all, I think, had a good time. A lot of guys, like I said, afterwards, first time leaving North America, so that was cool for them. I thought we handled the time change pretty well.
Yeah, I was about to ask. That's early, 9:30 kickoff here in America. You leave on Thursday. How does the body get ready for that? I guess you just hang out with Ted Lasso all day? That's kind of how you get used to it?
Yeah, well, you just try and sleeping on the plane on the way over wasn't a cakewalk by any means, but got a couple hours and then just tried to stay up as long as possible, not really nap. Friday night I slept really, really well. Saturday not as good, but Friday night was like 9 hours uninterrupted sleep. It was incredible.
That's amazing.
So, yeah, that was like better than I sleep in the States. But yeah, overall really fun trip, and just to see the response from the fans was incredible. Even walking around Wembley, and seeing people in Packers jerseys was just surreal. It really is. We have fans around the world, and talking to a few friends of mine who were in town for a long weekend for the game, they found multiple bars that were like Packer bars in London, which is, I think it's just a reminder, especially for NFL players, how far the reach is, but Green Bay Packers players, just how deep our fan base is around the world. It's a reminder how special it is to be able to play in Green Bay.
Hell yeah. Go ahead, AJ.
What about now? You guys don't have a bye, obviously. You come right back. How do you feel now, and is your schedule this week any different than a normal week?
The only difference is Monday is usually kind of a flush recovery day with a workout, and we had Monday completely off. So it's kind of like the first off day, completely off of the season, which is nice. Today was kind of a standard Tuesday. The workout was a little bit different. Usually we squat on Tuesdays, so didn't do that. It was more of kind of the flush workout today. Tomorrow's maybe a little bit later start, I believe. But I think everybody's probably starting to feel a little bit better. I talked to some guys this morning, said they're still kind of dealing with some jet lag, but we'll be ready to go by Sunday. The next 2 weeks. I haven't looked at the entire schedule, but are our first, noon Central kicks. You only have one noon Central on the books now. Kickoff at Lambeau this year, and it's going to be this weekend against the Jets. And I believe we go to Washington and have a noon Central, 1 Eastern kickoff next week. So this will be, good for us to experience these earlier games. We've been playing either a primetime slot or in that 3:25 slot.
How about some of those like West Coast teams that are kicking off at 10 a.m. local time sometimes just for a regular season game? It's wild, the East Coast bias, but we appreciate you guys sticking through it. Let's talk about the game that you had over there in London town. Obviously, the introduction, you got a massive pop. There's cheeseheads everywhere. Their chants were awesome. Yeah. I can't wait for a team to go over there. I think it's inevitable. Roger Goodell talked about maybe an entire division. I'm excited for their fan base to kind of dive all the way into the NFL because the hooligans are fucking awesome. We can all agree with that. Let's talk about the game. Wink Martindale, obviously OG defensive coordinator. Seemed like you guys had things rolling early. Second half, different story. What was it you think? Do you think it was something they were doing, you guys were doing, whenever you had a little bit of trouble there, or was it a combination of both, Aaron?
Well, I think sometimes a lot of that gets skewed based on the coin toss. They won the toss deferred, obviously, so we get the ball. So in the first half, we had basically one more possession than them. And, the second half, we basically had one drive and then got the ball back with around 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter for our second drive. So it wasn't necessarily a ton of stuff that they did. It was we just didn't get the ball. We had a good drive, our first drive of the second half after they made it 20 to what was it, 2013, I think it was. And we drove down and then got sacked on third down. And then didn't get the ball till the fourth quarter with about 10 left, all tied up. We had three passes. Two of them had pretty good chance to complete and didn't, and then punted it away. And then next thing you know, we're in a 2-minute drive to try and 2-minute style drive to try and tie the game up. So that was really what happened. I have a ton of respect for Wink. I think he's a fantastic coach. They got a good scheme. They got really good players, but they're aggressive. They come after you. They had a lot of different pressures. They had edge pressure. They had overload pressure. They had empty pressure. So they threw a lot at us. I thought we handled it for the most part pretty well. We just had basically the one sack, not counting the last Hail Mary attempt. So I thought the line held up pretty good. We ran the ball decent. They got some studs in the inside. 97 is a premier player and needs to probably get some more recognition for the ability that he has. Talking with our interior three, they think he's one of the top guys in the league for sure, and he played obviously really well for them. But they played really well together. They fly the ball, and we had some opportunities. But like I said after the game, our margin of victory right now is our margin of error. Sorry, is just it's tiny. We need to increase that through better on third down, better in situational football, get some turnovers on defense, and look, we're 5 games in, we're 3-2. We're in the mix after 5. We got a stretch right here coming up after this home game of a few road games in a row that we're going to have to go on the road and win in some other environments.
So we can overreact. You can't. There's another game coming right down the pipeline that is going to be difficult. And we've learned that through this Aaron Rodgers Tuesday experience. There's been some games that have not gone great for the Packers, and you've shown up, and you're like, hey, we got another game coming. We can't let what happened then happen again, and I appreciate that. And do you hear the overreaction? For instance, there was some shit discourse in the locker room after the game. Both Schneidman with you talking about Jair Alexander's answer about manifestation, and, if we lose next week, then we'll panic. And then Aaron Jones also saying, you give me and A.J. Dillon a couple shots from the 2-yard line, we feel like we're going to get in there. It's early in the season for this type of stuff to happen. Do you feel any of that? Do you hear about any of that? And is it getting blown out of proportion, you think, outside of the building like what we normally do, Aaron?
Yes, of course it is.
Okay, good. Happy to hear
Look,
that.
I love Jair. He's one of my all-time favorite teammates. He's a fantastic guy. I wasn't even referencing his comments. There was there was a comment made in the locker room, and anytime I'm speaking in front of the guys after a game, or I'm at the podium, or I'm on this show, and same for everybody else. I do my weekly on Wednesday in front of the locker room. In the locker room, everybody else has their different times who are speakers. We are the mouthpieces to set the narrative for the locker room, and there's an important responsibility with that, because whatever I say or a coach says or a star player says is going to be echoed naturally throughout the locker room, because guys are going to repeat things that they hear, motifs, themes, whatever it might be. And so I really feel like it's important that we're speaking the right messages. So again, I wasn't taking a shot at Jair at all. I love Ja, man. He's an incredible guy, and he's a guy who has got a beautiful spiritual path that he's on, and he's deeply thoughtful, insightful, and meditative guy. And he knows the power of manifestation. So I think we just got to be careful with some of those conversations, because it becomes the narrative, positive or negative. So I was just trying to not rebuke anything, but just to refocus. Like, just remember how powerful our words are, with the ability to manifest our thoughts, and our thoughts become our reality. So. As far as what Jonesy said, yeah, for sure, man. Look at the last play. They brought an empty pressure, but for whatever reason, they had a three-man side on the left. Maybe if I hand the ball off to AJ, he scores. Obviously, if it's empty pressure, you're not really thinking hand the ball off. You're thinking take a shot. I had Allen on one side, Cobb basically on the other side, who were possibilities. Chose Allen, the guy, was perfect with his timing, getting his hands up. Maybe if I throw it to Cobb, might have a better chance, or maybe adjust the route to Allen. But that's that second-guessing stuff. And we had a couple opportunities. We had opportunities earlier in the drive, I think, to score, and we were kind of milking the clock a little bit. Looking back, maybe try and get that thing in a few plays earlier might have been the way to go.
Got it.
Hey, how confident were you at the end? That last, like when you had a Hail Mary, I was thinking, hey, worst case scenario, you throw it in the end zone, penalty, you get a free play from the one. When you're dropping back for that last play, are you thinking, all right, this is it. This is going to be a walk-off right here in London? It's awesome. And also, how you feeling? Because you ate a nice shot right there in that last one.
You were on to 30. That would have been a 70-plus yard huck. The load up that you had to have for the crow hop. I mean,
I give them credit. They didn't let you crow hop like you normally can. I give them a lot of credit.
Four-man pressure, not normal either, right? Normally it's just three guys, everybody else dropping back. You got, smoke there. You're going from the 30. That ball is going 5 yards deep in the end zone from there, and what was the pain on that? Sorry to,
that was about at the edge for sure. I've thrown some 70 before. That would have been on the edge. It was one of those where I felt good up until the moment of releasing that ball, that it would have been close for sure. And our guys are battling. It's tough. When you're throwing from the 40 or the 50, it's a lot different. The timing on it, you don't need 7-8 seconds. You need 3 or 4. And then to launch it high, it'll give you guys enough time to get in the end zone. When you're throwing from the 30, you need a good 7 or 8 seconds. So I was trying to dance around to get to myself to a spot where I could, get the ball up. And there's one of those things where you get kind of rocked, and you kind of, after the fact, there's obvious disappointment that the game is over, and awareness of what's going on behind you. John Runyon picked the ball up and was running around.
He looked good.
Yeah.
Maybe get him the ball. He looks good.
Yeah, I watched. I was sitting next to John on the bus on the way back, and it's linemen don't have a lot of opportunities for that glory. For the glory of having the ball in their hands. I saw one in New England 2010. That was one of the greatest plays ever, and that guy returned that kickoff almost for a touchdown. AJ was there for that, but John was rewinding that back in a few times on his iPad, checking his form, maybe his ball security a little bit. So. Nice moment for John there. But I was taking kind of a record of where I was at, my body, shoulders okay, neck, okay, neck's all right, knees, okay, they're okay. My thumb is a little banged up. That's the only spot that's bothering me a little bit.
Bennett?
Spin it still? Jerry says you got to be able to spin it. Dak's got to be able to spin it. Is that going to mess you up any moving forward?
You got the Bennett fracture, dude? Is everything okay?
I hope not.
I think I'll be able to spin it. I think I'll feel better later in the week.
Whew. Okay, because you do that.
Could you throw how far can you throw left-handed, Aaron?
Oh, I can't throw. I can't throw it all left-handed. I hurt my arm in high school pitching, uh, and so I spent the first month of kind of the summer not really throwing, letting my arm heal, and tried to throw left-handed and got really good. I could throw it 30 yards, and then I popped something on my shoulder, and I haven't been able to throw a ball, 15 yards with my left hand. So every now and then I throw, some laterals and stuff or screen passes, pitches left, but overhand left, I can't do that.
Okay, Aaron, there was a moment, I think it was before the last play, where there's a timeout. It might have been the last play or the second to last play. I don't remember because it was an early morning over here when we were watching it play, and there was a lot of other games that took place. Timeout, you go over to LaFleur. You and LaFleur are talking. It appears as if LaFleur says, you want to run that with a question mark. Is that a conversation that takes place before every play, before big plays? And what was said there, and what was ultimately the decision that was made there?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to run this play that we've run in the past that I felt like was going to give all three of the guys on the one side a good chance to win. And they played it pretty good. Honestly, they had a lot of guys up near the line of scrimmage playing man on the backside, and it didn't quite shape out. Now, that being said, I was trying to fit the ball through that wall of arms there on the left side. And in my mind, the ball gets through. It could be a touchdown to Cobb there on the end breaker. It was tight coverage, but I felt good about the throw. Unfortunately, the ball got tipped way up in the air, and nobody caught it. But yeah, Matt had an idea about a play. I had an idea about a play. I liked both plays and just basically said, hey, whatever one you think, and jogged back out there to kind of give some reminders to the guys, and he ended up calling on a play that I was leaning towards.
Well, that's very good. Hey, look at that. I thought you two hate each other. Look at that. You two are going to get along. Let's talk about somebody you get along very well with. Cobby had a big day. Cobby had a big day. 1 week ago in this conversation, you said Randall Cobb's got himself back into shape. It seems like he's ready to go. He's earned a lot more reps, and we should have kind of seen it coming what was going to take place on Sunday. You were feeding him. He looked like he was flying around. It did look like it was like 5-6 years ago, Randall Cobb. Do you see that going forward? And, what is it about Cobb that makes you so much more comfortable with him this year than maybe last year or, anybody else on the team?
No, I don't think there's a difference this year and last year. It's just what he's done to put himself in position to have an opportunity to make more plays. He was dealing with some injuries coming out of Houston, and then obviously had the core injury last year in a game where he had his most yards, 95 yards in the first half there. I just felt like he was trending in this direction where he's going to get more opportunities. Now, 13 targets was not the expected. I don't know when the last time he had 13 targets in a game was. But he made the most of a lot of them. Many of them were subtle adjustments. There were a few actual plays called. And he's not a guy that would call a ton of plays for. He just kind of gets the first 40-yarder he had was an off schedule. Somehow went through a sea of arms right into his gut, and he turned into another explosive gain on a third down. But there were some other subtle adjustments that we talked about. One that we kind of put in on Friday that worked absolute to perfection on the 2-minute drive at the end of the first half. Again, I had two opportunities for touchdowns. One, they brought empty pressure on the 2-minute drive in the first half, and he had one-on-one, and I just slightly underthrew him. Looked like it could have been, some interference there, but needed to put that ball another yard out there for him. And then again on the last play, he ran a good route. Would have been tight coverage, but an opportunity there for a touchdown. So. I got a lot of trust in him. Always have. Love what he's done to get himself, really back to, I think, running like he was running a few years ago and healthy and not having, nagging things he's dealing with, throughout the week. So, and that being said, I don't want to do this every single week, but I will say one guy that I was really, really happy to get the ball to was Big Dog.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. What a touchdown. What a play design.
Yeah, that was a great play design that Hackett brought to us a few years ago, and we've been working on that for a while, and it's nice to get Big Dog's had so many touchdowns in London over the years, playing for Jacksonville. Last time he was there, I think he had 3 touchdowns in the game, so we definitely wanted to get him a touch, but I've talked many times about our best 11, right? And over, Big Dog's showing up and dominating the line of scrimmage in the run game. And, I hope we can keep getting him opportunities, here and there in the pass game when we can, because he is, even though he's 280 and 6'11", he's very elusive with the ball in his hand.
Yeah.
And he can do little things in the passing game, especially in the red zone. So I hope we can get him some more looks. And then obviously, we got to get Allen more involved too, whether that's calling more plays for him or me giving him a few more looks. Allen is such a talented guy for us. We got to keep find ways to get the ball in his hands.
Love that you said it last week about Cobb, and then this weekend Cobb did his thing. Now it's Big Dog. Let's remember that going into the weekend.
Sure.
Let's remember that quarterback doing his thing, saying his thing. Hopefully we'll be able to see the Big Dog out there. He is the only first-round draft pick that you've ever thrown a touchdown to. Old Big Dog. That gets stated every time you complete a pass to him. That is kind of the talking point. Not that he's been in the NFL for like 19 years or something like that. How long has Big Dog been in the NFL?
Well, he's the only draft pick left from the 06 draft. I'm the only one left from the 05 draft. And then there's 2 kickers, I believe, left from the 07 draft. One of them is on our team. So we have 3 of the older guys in the league, that being said, not counting Tom, who was drafted in the 90s, I believe. So.
Ty, your question for Aaron.
Aaron, it's comforting hearing you say all this stuff because Pat mentioned Overreaction Monday. We have to do what we have to do, and I think that fans kind of live and die every single week, and that's just because our expectations are so high, especially with you. We expect the Packers to win every single week, so it's comforting knowing that we're not, bearing down a relaxed situation. But I'm curious, what were the field conditions like over there? Because I know there was that massive seam down the turf, and a lot of people were saying the flight coupled with that was maybe why Bach didn't play the whole game, just to kind of rather be safe than sorry there. What was it different playing on that turf, or did that affect anything at all, or not really?
Well, first, I believe that might have been a key factor in Dave not going the whole time was the long flight and then playing on field turf. I thought the turf was in fine shape. It was maybe a little firmer than some of the other surfaces, maybe above not other surfaces, but it's maybe a little more firm than the average surface. But going back to your first statement, let me just emphasize this. I'll speak for myself. I absolutely love the fact that the expectations are high. I mean, think about other places around the league. It's not like that. The expectation of every time you take the field, greatness and winning and excellence, it's been laid down through generations of Packer people, coaches, front office people, and obviously players, the standard of excellence. And we embrace that, and we really do. And we know what comes along with that is when we don't achieve victory, the scrutiny is probably a little higher. But I wouldn't have it any other way. I mean, this is what we want. We want an expectation of greatness and winning every time we take the field because this is what Green Bay is all about. It's about a standard of excellence, and the excellence is related to a championship caliber potential every year we take the field. And we embrace that. I embrace that. I love that. And when we come up short, we're going to be accountable. And at the same time, we're not going to panic. We're not going to, flip out, go crazy. We're going to, get back to the basics and the most important things that help us do what we do and find a way to get on the right track. And hopefully this week will be a bounce back. I will say that, it was 2 3-1 teams. People, we were, I think, favored, but maybe people haven't given the Giants enough credit. Obviously, they have a dynamic running back who's playing at a really high level. But the defense and Wink, throws a lot of things at you, and they're a good football team. And obviously, the NFC East is a 5-0 team and 2 4-1 teams right now. So, we still got to face 2 of those teams, and obviously Washington on the road. But look, to sum that all up, we play in Green Bay. The standard is the standard. We love it. We wouldn't want it any other way.
Hell yeah.
And we're going to keep striving for that greatness, and hopefully we return to the winning ways this week.
That's why the stadium was 70%, 15%, 15% because of what you just said.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, Ty's about to fuck it. He just put a hole in you.
6 to midnight.
Go ahead, AJ. Your question for Aaron.
Aaron, were you surprised at all by the support that you had personally? I feel like every picture I saw on Twitter or whatever, there's 5,012 jerseys walking to the stadium. And I feel like you're like an adopted son over there for whatever reason.
England.
Is that because you and Sudeikis are boys or what? Don't be going to a Harry Styles concert either.
Whoa. Especially now, yeah. Especially now. You're on Ted Lasso. So.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
AJ.
Look, Harry's a big Packer fan and a friend of mine. So I'm always going to be a supporter of him. I love Ted Lasso. It's a great show. I had a great time with Coach Beard, big Chicago Bears fan, actually. Got to meet Jamie Tart and Roy Kent as well. They were very nice, but it was fun. It was fun to be around them. It looks like they got a really close knit group. We'll see how many more seasons they do, but I know they enjoy being over there, and I think the English audience is starting to embrace. I was asking Jason about that. How obviously in America, Ted Lasso is humongous, but is it big in England and Europe? And he said it feels like it's more embraced. And Coach Beard was saying his level of fame has risen. And I said, well, that's what you get for writing an episode all about you. Because he's one of the writers on the show, which was one of the best episodes I thought in the last season was the Coach Beard episode. But yeah, it was fun hanging out with those guys. And as far as the support, it was great from the start. There were a ton of people at the Grove who we got to interact with. One guy who was hiding out in the woods, who they had to kick off property a couple times, who was trying to get close to some of us. But the security was pretty tight at the Grove. I mean, it was pretty locked down. But the fans were great. And we walked through the airport post game, and there was a ton of fans. And I was stopping and taking pictures and signing for as many as I could. But then that's when a lot of the conversations happen about, hey, I'm a big fan of the show, and I love the book club, and that was really cool because people from Germany. I'm from Germany. I'm from obviously England. I'm from Wales. I'm from Scotland, Ireland, Netherlands.
Wow.
People from all over. So that was pretty awesome to be able to see those people. Thank them for coming. Obviously, we feel bad about losing, but big thanks for the support.
Just to correct something that AJ added in there, we appreciate all those people as well. An international book club is a cool thing that I never thought that I'd have any association with. Nobody from Qatar was there, right?
We don't know.
He does.
Nobody said they're from, I think it's pronounced Qatar, I believe.
You're right. Qatar.
Yep. Qatar.
I do apologize. Qatar. That is 100%
I
on
would
me.
say Qatar.
Well, see,
They were the worst team on the old FIFA soccer game. Now they're hosting the World Cup.
it's going to go great. It's going to go great.
Yeah.
Nobody's upset about that at all. Let's talk about people being upset about stuff. This roughing the passer call stuff that's happening. Tom Brady, obviously, with Grady Jarrett this weekend, called by Jerome Boger, who called one against the Bills, or against the Ravens, against the Bills last week. Then last night, there's a situation where Chris Jones strips the ball clearly, takes it from Derek Carr, tries to brace himself going down. Doesn't matter, the refs say. When you're in a throwing posture, that's going to take place. You can't review roughing the passer. It's really end-all, be-all, and it's affecting games. You're a quarterback. You've taken massive shots. I assume some of the rules that have been put in place are to save guys like you, to make you play longer. What are your thoughts on that? Tom Brady said, I don't throw the flags. And I think Tom Brady has gone out and said that the game's much easier now. It's he didn't like the calls. I think you've said the same thing. But what do you think about how we fix it? How do we fix it? Is it fixable? And where do you stand on the whole roughing the passer maybe being a reviewable penalty situation?
Yeah, look, they tried to do that with pass interference a couple of years ago. It's tough because there's a big subjective nature to that call. And I don't know how much you can see objectivity in a slow motion replay. Look, as a quarterback, there's times where we feel like football players and times where we don't. And what I mean by that is football is a collision sport. It's a contact sport. And so when we're involved in those collisions, there's part of us, maybe it's the kid in us who grew up, not necessarily playing quarterback, playing defense, playing running back, playing linebacker, tackling, doing more of the stuff that everybody else in the field is doing every single time, not just, dropping back and throwing the ball and not getting not getting hit every single play. There's something about that I think we do enjoy. We enjoy the contact. It is tough to play defense. The strike zones for tacklers has totally changed. You can't hit guys over the middle like you used to. And then policing the quarterback position is the number one thing. And there's been multiple hits that have changed the course, the direction of roughing the passer, which makes it really tough. We've been on the wrong side of a few of those calls over the years that kind of look similar to the play last night. I don't know, and again, I'm making a generalization here and just speaking for myself, though, but I personally am not begging for those calls, for that call last night. Like, I don't know what else Chris Jones can do on that play. And that would not be a call I'd be begging to hit. The things that I think are most important is the shots to the head. That's the most important thing. It's the shots to the head and the unnecessary roughness ones where a guy doesn't have to pick you up and throw you down, or the 2 or 3 step shots.
It's like intent almost. It's like intentional. You're saying.
Yeah. I think it's tough with the lower leg ones too, because a lot of times those guys are already on the ground or going to the ground. So I think the intent of the rule is protection of quarterback, and it's a quarterback-driven league, right? We have to understand that. But the enforcement is very difficult for all referees. I know both those referees. I mean, we've had them, both Jerome and Carl. They're both great refs, and I think they both felt like they made the right call. It's heat of the moment. It's bang bang. It's quick. Those are difficult calls for sure. But it's more difficult in defense because I don't know if I'm coaching defensive line and I'm sitting in with Chris Jones in a meeting on Wednesday. What am I telling him?
What are you supposed to do different? I mean, what is it? And I think that doesn't really get talked about whenever you're asking Carl why he made the call. But him doubling down on it, being like, well, in a throwing posture, they have protection. And I get the NFL is run by the quarterbacks. But, man, there's some big time – they go down to score. I mean, it is – it's big games are being decided by this whole thing. And I'm happy to hear your take on it, but you have to compliment every ref because guess what? Probably have them this upcoming weekend. So just keep doing that, Aaron. We'll keep doing the bad stuff.
Listen, it's a tough job. I mean, I'm not bullshitting. It's a tough job.
I agreed, yeah.
Everything happens in fractions of seconds, and you have to make decisions which could impact games on what you're seeing. And I don't think it's to go down the road of reviewing it. I think we might end up in the same spot we did with pass interference, where there's gray areas, and then one call changes the entire trajectory of all other calls that fit under that, that standard. And I don't think when we did pass interference, I don't think what was accomplished was what we had hoped, because, like I said, one call refereed and interpreted a certain way changed, the review process on every other play. And I just think that that's what's going to happen when you have a subjective call. There's intent involved, and when intent is involved, it on a foundational level takes it out of a purely objective rule. And I think there's so much gray area that it may do more harm than good.
Yeah, none of us know the right answer, I guess, at this point. I'm happy to hear your take on it, but Aaron, if you get picked up and dropped on your head, we're going to be mad about it.
Yeah.
Goddamn right.
Throw the flag. If you do a flop, though, we'll also probably, be mad. Well, you know what I mean? There's a little bit of a gray area. But these refs, I don't think can tell the difference. If you're flopping around back there, you might be able to pick up a quick 15.
Yeah,
something to think about. Listen, I'm not telling you to cheat, but just something to think about. You might feel like a weak person, a little bit soft in real time, and in the locker room, you might get buried on this show, probably get buried on the internet, probably get buried. That's a first down, baby.
That's right. Move the chains.
Are we moving the chains or are we not? You know what I mean, Aaron?
I don't think it's worth it.
You're right. I can never flop as a punter either. Somebody comes around, do the whole leg, get a first down. It's going to be tough for me to talk to my parents, I think, if I do that. It's going to be tough for me to talk to my friends. My teammates are going to judge me. It's first down, though, but still, I'm a human. Anyways, let's move on. Good luck this week. It is time for my favorite part of the week, Aaron. This is my favorite part of the week. I learn about things that I would have never learned about in the past. The first season of the Aaron Rodgers Book Club was a smashing success. It was an international success.
Yeah.
Goddamn right.
There's people from Wales,
What?
England,
What?
and Ireland,
What?
Scotland,
What?
Germany,
What?
that are part of the Aaron Rodgers Book
Belgium,
Belgium,
Why?
Belgique, oui, oui.
Italy.
What?
Grazie to everybody that joined the Aaron Rodgers Book Club. Had to run it back. Aaron Rodgers Book Club 2.0 has been fantastic.
We got a
Obviously,
great one this week too, which you won't be reading, but it's a great one.
well, there was the Mastery of Love, there was the 1984, there was the Art of Contemplation, and then this week, Book 4 of the Aaron Rodgers Book Club 2.0. We've learned so much about authors we've never heard of. We read next to none of these books, but we tried our best, didn't we?
Yeah.
Book 4 of the Aaron Rodgers Book Club 2.0 is?
New York Times bestseller, How to Change Your Mind by Michael Pollan.
Hey, thanks, Mike.
Let's go.
There's also a Netflix series. If you don't want to read, I know you probably rather watch Netflix. There's a Netflix series with the same name. This is a 400-page book, so it might be best for you to check out the Netflix series. But fantastic book. It was, let's see, one of the top 10 best books of 2018.
Well, it's good to hear
read it
books,
years
too.
ago. But
Good to hear books.
it's the subtitle is What the New Science of Psychedelics Teaches Us About Consciousness, Dying, Addiction, Depression, and Transcendence. And a lot of the book, as well as the TV show, is about the use of psychedelics and other substances to cure PTSD, depression, postpartum, a bunch of different issues that people are dealing with. He's done years and years, decades of research, and I would definitely recommend not just the book for the book lovers, but the Netflix series as well.
Hey, listen, I'll Netflix and trip anytime, dog. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Is this about plants? Is this all about plants on this thing?
But there's definitely some reference to that. I think you'd enjoy it.
Are we talking about the plant that you became synonymous with?
No, I don't think there's anything about that in there.
So it's kind of basic level?
Not synonymous with that now?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, yeah.
I think for a little bit, old Aaron Ayahuasca. I think that's going to be the, for a little bit at least. But we appreciate that. Can't wait to watch that on Netflix. I hope the readers will read it. We appreciate your time. Good luck the rest of the week, and good luck getting readjusted to the American time zone, pal.
Hey, thank you. Noon Central kick this week, which all of us NFLers, we really love those.
Love those. Hey, especially fresh out of a 9:30 a.m. kickoff last week local, straight into a noon local kickoff. Hey, listen, there's an art of contemplation, and there's a lot of things you can do in there, and you can master love, all you need to do.
Right.
And you can go back to 1984 till now and see a lot of similarities. But whenever you're talking about the mastering of changing a mind, change your mind, it is at noon. It's prime time.
Hell yeah.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, the back-to-back MVP, Aaron Rodgers. Book Club's teaching me stuff, dude. Before I even Netflix it, I know it.
You gonna watch the Netflix series?
Yeah, absolutely.
What's the series called again?
Same as the
Same
book.
thing.
How to Change Your Mind
Yep.
How to Change Your Mind. Okay. I'll check it out.
by Mike Paulin.
Good guy.
New York Times bestseller.
2018, top 10 book of 2018. 2018
Great-
had
great book
smash.
year.
It was a good book year.
Huge
Best
book
draft
year.
classes that
I
I've
don't
ever
know why
seen.
that made me laugh.
There's some good book
said
years, there's some bad, because who knows, dude. 2018, Zito just said, number one book, Michelle Obama's book. Might be wrong, though. So it was
Good
a
book.
stat that, and then it might be wrong that.
What was the number one book of 2021 or 2022? Was it?
All right. Let's get to, let's take 5 here.
What are you saying, Diggs?
What book was
All right, let's get to a break.
Don't sleep on Barry O.
We are very thankful that Aaron joins us, especially after a loss. We're thankful that you watch along.